أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه وآله وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد, inshallah we continue with the explanation or the commentary on the book of the Ideal Muslimah, or the Ideal Muslimah, Muslim personality. As I mentioned last time, the book is speaking about the personality, or the personality that the Muslim female should have according to the Quran and Sunnah. And that's very important clause in the in this series, according to Quran and Sunnah. So it is not according to the definition of anything other than the book of Allah and the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even if we talk about it from a modern perspective, or what you should have as far as the new science, new psychology, all these kind of definitions, and empowerment, self-esteem, confidence, all of these words or these terms that define a character of a person now, they are good, they're fine, alhamdulillah. But we look at them from within the perspective of Quran and Sunnah. So anything that somebody tells you that you as a Muslim woman, Muslim women should have such and such and such, that's fine. But what is our standard? Or we measure that statement according to what? According to the book of Allah and the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why, first and foremost, all Muslim sisters should possess the knowledge of Quran and Sunnah. Because it's not me who define Islam for you. It's not Mamdouh, or it is not XYZ Shaykh. You trust that Shaykh or that person because how much they know about Quran and Sunnah, with the certification of other scholars higher, and the credibility is based on that, plus their piety and righteousness, and how much you see that they follow what they preach. So these are the two things, right? So number one, you see their qualification of Quran and Sunnah. And this is not someone just come and claim and say, I'm a scholar in Quran and Sunnah. They must be certified from different entities. It's not just a bachelor degree or a master or PhD. It is other body of sheikhs and scholars who cannot be lying or falsifying, that testimony about that one person. So if one sheikh can be biased, 100 others cannot be biased, right? So all of them pointing, oh, that person is qualified. That's you as a lay person. That's the person that you should take your deen from. So it's not that person who defined the deen for you. It is how much qualified they are, plus they are preaching something that they themselves are practicing. You can see the way they deal with you and they deal with others. So once this is established, then you should look to everything based on that. So what is your main concern? Is this in accordance with the book of Allah and the Sunnah of Rasulullah? Once you had that established, then alhamdulillah, you know that you are following the book of Allah and the Sunnah of Rasulullah. And this happens as a daughter, obeying her parents, a sister dealing with her brother, what is her rights and the duties upon him, what is her rights upon him, what is her duties toward her siblings, wife, what is her rights upon her husband, what are the duties, and teacher, female teacher in the community, and all of that, what are your rights and what are your duties, is not based on your likes and dislikes, or my likes and dislikes, or me as a sheikh and you. It's not based on any of that. I'm just a transfer, channel. So it is based on the book of Allah and the Sunnah. So when you tell a wife to obey her husband, it is not obeying his person, but obeying him in the obedience of Allah. When we tell the student to be good to their teacher, it is not the person of the teacher, but it is the position or the status of the teacher. When we tell somebody to be good to their parents, it is not how good or bad their parents, it is how good they should be. It's about you. And so on and so forth. So I'm trying to establish that before we go through the book, chapter 1 today, inshallah. I hope you had the chance to view it. I myself, alhamdulillah, had the chance to view it. One sister actually sent me her comments on the whole book. She read the whole book. She went through the whole book and she sent the commentary on it. And I like that because actually she pointed out few concerns, they're valid. So I said, inshallah, respective chapters, I will be pointing that out. Things that might be understood. As I told you last time, this book is written from an Eastern perspective. So that's why I chose it to be, because this is a translation rendered from the original. An original written in Arabic. Yes, but the problem is not online. I really did the effort to do it, but it is not available online in Arabic. It's available in Russian. Can you imagine that? In Romanian. I found the copy in Romanian and in Russian, in English. But I did not, and French also. This will be good for you, but I did not find one in Arabic. But inshallah, I'll get the hard copy. I'll get that. But even in Amazon, it's not available. I tried to find a bookstore here, but the bookstore that I found, it's one in Saudi and one in Egypt. Yeah, so inshallah, Rabbil Alameen, end of the month, I'm going overseas. So inshallah, if any sister is interested, I can bring few copies. Inshallah, it's not a big deal, but it's in Arabic. I myself like to, if there is something written originally in English and translated in Arabic, even Arabic is my language of comfort and my mother tongue, I would prefer to read it in English first. Because I know both Arabic and English. Why? Because, the author put all his thoughts and expressed it in that language. Then in translation, that is the translator's perspective. Now, so that many things will be lost in translation. Many, not few, but many. They try their best. I'm not accusing anybody, but always there will be that thing, missing. So same thing goes in Arabic. So if there is something original in Arabic, I always prefer to read it in the language of origin first, if I can and I know that language, because it gives you the feeling of and the perspective of the author. And that's why when I'm reading the translation in English, I kind of trying to assume what did the writer write in Arabic. So I'm doing also in my head, going back to what would he say as an Arab, What would he say in that? And even though I did not see the original Arabic, but I can tell that the translation is not depicting 100% of what was said. Okay? So like that title. You see, I spent lots of time, long time last lecture, talking about the title. شخصية المرأة المسلمة في ضوء الكتاب والسنة. See that word في ضوء, in the shade of the Quran and the Sunnah. That word in the shade of the Quran and Sunnah, he did not say it as the Quran and Sunnah mentioned. Because there is no way that you can fully say that's exactly what it is. No, Allah Azza wa Jalla and His Messenger give us an area of interpretation, right? So that's why scholars differ in things. So we're trying in the shade of Quran and Sunnah, and that also helps us in the 21st century that the modern science and the definitions and the modern mental issues, psychological issues, emotional issues that did not exist before. Like now in our time, in this age and time, there are many things that we suffer from that it was not there before. I can stand on the minbar here and openly tell people that you have to really to maintain and check your mental and psychological health as you're checking and maintaining your physical ones. Like we have physical exams, like dental every 6 months you do checkup and cleaning, right? You don't have a problem, but you just go for that. This is a routine thing. Like, maintenance, every 20,000 miles, 50,000 miles car, we as humans like that. In all times, that was not there for many reasons. Now it is there. I need to go speak to someone. Because, the society as we knew it 30 and 40 years ago is not existing anymore. Anywhere in the world, let alone in America. It doesn't. Like before, we took things for granted. I remember when I was very young, you go and you find the women sitting in the street talking to each other. Right? We saw that. You go pass by and going to your school and college and all that, and you find women. It has good and bad, it's the bad part, the gossiping, the backbiting, and whatever it creates. But the good part, the release of pressure. Right? So whenever they have things in the home, they don't necessarily talk about their problems, but there is a channel of venting things. This is non-existent here. Right? It's non-existent. You are in the daily grind, and what you're going to talk about in front of with people, right? Masjid is your only venting things. Everybody has the car, drive the kids, go to sports, go to this, go to that, school and all that, and at the end of the day you are collapsing, right? And then come faced with your duties as a mother, as a sister, as a single, as a bachelor, as a widow, as a divorce, whatever it is, the big issues. And then pressure builds up, and the rest history, as they say. So now maintenance has to be different. There has to be someone professional that to counsel us, have workshops. You go to someone counselor, you have a family sessions, you go to speak to someone as a family. You'll be surprised. You will be surprised. When you sit with your children, with a professional person, they will open up things, and the kids will start saying things in front of you that you never imagined. I'm telling you from personal experience. And it's good, and you have to go out of your comfort zone. And that's why we are promoting this in this masjid, inshallah Rabbil Alameen. We are promoting this in this masjid. We will have a series of workshops, alhamdulillah, we started many, of child rearing, how to, raise parental things, premarital counseling, teenage, mentorship, and marriage people, therapy and counseling and all of that. So we'll start this. So within a year, the community become comfortable with the idea of seeking that help. Like you do physical, you get notifications that your physical is due this year. After 40 years, you have to go do certain things, right? After 50 years, you have to do certain things. After 60 years, you have to do certain things. If you become diabetic, this is the area. There are issues. How you eat, how you exercise, and how you do that. Our mind is the same thing. So inshallah, I'm taking this upon myself to introduce it to the community. And again, as I said, I have to start with myself, and I have to go out of my comfort zone and start facing the community. I said, me and my family, we seek counseling, not because we have a problem, but it is a healthy thing, it's a good thing, and we have to be comfortable with it. This is the American culture, and this is good for you, because you don't want 20 years from now that you say, I wish I did this. Right? While you lost 20 years of your life, you could have enjoyed many, many things. And we are living in a mirage of things that we think that this is a problem while it is not, or we are enjoying while we are not. Okay? We can talk forever about these things. So sometimes we feel that this is good. This is what life should be. It actually shouldn't be like that. Okay? This is a mirage. This is deception. And you will discover it later while it's too late. Or you feel that there is something bad, while it is actually very natural. It's very natural in a relationship that this is how it goes. So inshallah, we'll do that. So let's get to chapter 1. I'm not going to go through the details, because again, I assume that you read it. So please, sisters, and those who are watching us, if you are not reading, start reading. This is chapter 1. Because it will accumulate on you, and then you'll get lost. So please make a time that you read. Trust me, if you read 10 minutes every day, you will finish the chapter. Just read 10 minutes every day. So the chapter is average about 30 or 40 pages. If you read 5 pages a day, you'll do it. If you are a slow reader like myself, that's how it's going to be done. If you are a fast reader, you're going to do it in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, the whole thing. Yeah, it took you an hour. See, that's average. An hour, that means you not thoroughly read it, and you did not skim through. You perused it. Perusing means like you are focusing on the main ideas. So you're not skimming through, Skim through means like you are like, getting the idea, right? So 10 minutes you finish the whole chapter thing. That's skimming through, but you will get an idea, but a general one, right? Perusing through something, that means you kind of like a little bit magnified, focusing. So when you look here, you focus on an idea, and you find the ideas coming up in the middle of the page, like you kind of. Then you read thoroughly something. That's the third step. So normally you do all three. One, you kind of skim through. All right? Then two, you kind of peruse, and that means you're going to be focusing. When you skim through, things catch your eye fast. Then the second step, go slower a little bit. And then when you find a good idea, you're going to read that paragraph thoroughly. And that's how you achieve things. And then you have the circular reading, you keep going back and forth, you're making sense out of things. So, these are good things. So inshallah, you'll be able to do the chapter. After we finish today, inshallah, my advice to you, don't sleep tonight except before skimming through the chapter again, chapter number 1 again, because you're going to see through new eyes, right? You're going to have a newer perspective. And please put notes, as I told you before, 5 or 6 of them, right? This chapter, main points are like that. And the chapter itself has points, right? So write the point that the chapter written and add a new point. Don't repeat the same title. Like for example, the ideal Muslimah, she prays her nafil salah. Okay? That's the point that the book did. Don't make a point and say the importance of nafil salah. Don't do that, because it's already, it's important. So write, for example, I'm just giving you an example, right? What nafil salah does for me? That's a question you ask yourself. All right? When you write that, it's a question, right? But mentally, in your subconscious, you will be trying to answer that. You get my idea here? Psychologically, you ask yourself a question, your mind will keep spinning, trying to answer that question. Okay? So when you wake up in the morning and you ask yourself, today I want to answer, how close am I to Allah through my actions today? That's a question, right? So all day long, what you are going to be, your mind, everything you do, is this getting me closer to Allah or not? Is this getting me closer to Allah or not? Is this getting, right? Tomorrow, I'm asking myself, am I a good mother? Right? So all day long, you're going to be bothered about that one. Okay? So the following day, what did I do to the community? What am I doing to community? Right? What does freedom mean for me today? Those kind of things. So the point that you make, I'm just giving you an example again. The ideal Muslimah, she reads Quran often. Okay? Then you say, you put a point, ask myself how many verses I read today. Make questions like that. Question yourself. You don't have to show it to me or to anybody, but keep questioning yourself. I find that the only way I improve my personality is posing this challenging question to myself every day. Okay? Wallah, I feel so relieved whenever I say, how many times I find shortcomings in my personality. Whenever I pick one or someone say this, I start being happy. Not happy that I'm wrong, but happy that I am one less problem, that now I'm aware of one problem. Aware of one problem, that's why whenever I go and I tell people, please, I am having this shortcoming as a teacher, so please help me to get over it and be patient with me. It's not my intention to do this, but, that's one thing. So I have the courage to admit problems, so we can help each other like this. So this will help me to be aware of my shortcoming and don't use my authority as a teacher, and you are not able to kind of say it because you respect as a student to me. But now, we are a little bit more, in communication with that. Yeah. So the Muslim woman and her Rabb. Rabb يعني Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The description of Rabb from tarbiyah. Rabb from a tarbiyah. The one who create, the one who sustain, the one who provide, and the one who cherish. So Rabb is the one who created you, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when He created you, He did not just abandon, no, He maintains His creation. He sent messengers to His creation. He sent books to His creation. He provides and gives rizq to His creation. The one who created me and the one who will take my life and the one who resurrect me, like Ibrahim alayhi salam said. The one who make me sick and the one who heals me, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the one that I am hopeful that He will forgive my sins in Yawm al-Qiyamah and raise my degrees, and so on. So this is the way Rabb. So when you identify this as a sister, this is my Rabb, then you know exactly what to do. If you do this, your little children will get it. If you don't know it, they will get what you know. Because it will reflect on your act, right? It will reflect on your act. So it's very important. So Aqidah comes first. Aqidah comes first. All the worship, acts of worship, if they don't come as a reflection of your strong relationship with Allah, they are merely a routine. If your acts of worship, even if you keep them very well, you wake up in the morning and pray Fajr, Jama'ah, you are eager to do Nafil, Ramadan, and all of that, if they are not reflecting your sincere love to Allah, hope in His mercy and fear from His punishment, they are merely routine. And the routine always under pressure will be broken. You know, it's a routine, right? You can change your routine. A sister, and I will use this example, maybe, it's a little bit uncomfortable for sisters. When a sister reaches the age of puberty, she has a certain routine of that time of the month, right? When she gets married, it might change, it might not. When she gives birth, it changes, but the routine changes. And you are good with it, because now you are, getting to a new stage, so your routine might change. You have exercise routine, you might compromise that for the sake of your children, but you will exercise it another time. But there are basic things in your life, it cannot change. Am I clear in this? There are basic things in your life, will not change. Those are basic. So your aqidah is basic, cannot change. You are believing that Allah Azza wa Jalla is the one who is provider. You have a job or you lose the job, it doesn't change. You will act differently, but your aqidah doesn't change. You never lose trust in Allah that He is the one who heals, even if you stay sick and get sicker and sicker, more ill. So routine is one thing, but aqidah is another thing. So your worship comes as a reflection of that solid belief. The book here mentions the reflection of aqidah on an icon or a paragon for all females till Yawm al-Qiyamah. Hajar alayhi salam. Hajar alayhi salam, when Sayyidina Ibrahim put her and their son Ismail in the middle of the desert. This is a symbol, You don't have to go through this to feel it. But it happens in your life, by the way, every day. You just have to relate. You just have to relate, right? So here is a husband who is a prophet of Allah. No prophet after Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But there are lots of Muslim husbands, right? There are lots of faithful husbands. And here is Hajar. And here is the son Ismail. That son can be a daughter, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 kids, doesn't matter. And here is a husband who put them in the middle of the desert. That desert can be any challenge in your life. Okay? The question was, why you are leaving us here? Why are you leaving us here? He doesn't answer. Why are you leaving us here? He doesn't answer. Now, with the standards here, why you are not answering me? Why you are not giving me respect? Who you think you are? Who you think am I? You're going to go from that perspective. Why? Because you are putting yourself as the standard. You are a male is because you are a male and I'm a female, and we go through that route. Okay? Instead, she asked that question, and when he doesn't answer, she realized that that was not the question that's supposed to be asked. Right? So what was the question? Did Allah order you to do this? When the answer came yes, so alhamdulillah. So it's not you and me, it's Allah. So the order for you is for me as well. But since you are the head of the household, it comes to you. I have to follow the order of Allah. It's not about you and me now. It is about Allah looking at us as a family. That makes it much easier, right? Makes it much easier. So if the husband tells his wife, do and don't, said, okay, is this the order of Allah, or it is just something that you come up with? Something that you come up with, we can negotiate and talk. Right? But if it is a clear order from Allah, alhamdulillah. Thank you. Okay? Same thing. If the wife tells her husband, you as a husband supposed to do such and such and such. He should not tell her, who are you to order me? I am the man. I order, but you cannot order me. No. Is this an order that Allah Azza wa Jal told us? Yes, I just learned that in the class. And there is a hadith in Sahih Bukhari, and this is the ayah saying that. And you as a husband should be taking care of that. So it is not because my wife said, and she is less than me, I am the man, and and go that route. This is wrong. Did Allah Azza wa Jalla say that? Yes, alhamdulillah, thank you so much. You are the wife that I should have. I'm blessed to have a wife who is pulling me toward Allah Azza wa Jalla. You see now, the whole concept changes. That's a solution for many of our problems. Okay? But when we are distracted by us, male, female, who's up, who's down, equal this, equal that, then we kind of forget the main purpose of the family, main purpose of parent-children relationship, teacher-student relationship, brother-sister relationship, community member relationship, administration, community member relationship, imam, ma'moom relationship, all kind of relationships. We kind of get distracted by why this, why that. A community member, he comes and, he does not like something that the Shaykh said. Khalas, they will sever the relationship with the Shaykh. Why? Because I don't like that. I'm a customer, I'm a consumer, I donate to the masjid. This Shaykh is an employee and he has to do that. But you are one person. Oh, I don't care. I'll just create as much trouble as I can. This is America, And then, missing the whole point. Also the Imam, the same thing. Shuns someone because, they're feeling toward them and all that, and they forget what Rasulullah SAW used to do with the people who disagree with him before the people who agree with him. Right? A person who disagrees with me being further, it's actually more dangerous than those who agree with me easily. Those who agree with me easily, khalas, I'm supposed to only tell them what to do. But that person is danger now. He will go and spread the problem and all of this, and maybe shaitan will take over and will create a bigger gap. No, I should get them back. So it's not about me and my ego as an imam. It's not about you and your ego as a community member and a donor and thinking that you are in control of things. So, we have to understand that. I'm giving various examples because feedback comes. Shaykh, always you talk husband, wife in your class. I said, yeah, because this is the core of everything, husband-wife relationship. If it is actually fixed, I think 90% of the problems in the community will be fixed. Yeah. That's why Rasulullah SAW made the standard of khayriyah, means the goodness. The best among you is the best to their family, husband to wife. Yeah. He did not say the best of you, the best to their children, or the best of you, the best to their parents. Did not make that as a standard, right? He made the standard husband and wife. Yeah?
You can fix as much as you can
صح.
in husband-wife relations, but the preventive is the one that you need to take care of.
صح.
Because our shabab, our youth, these are the ones that we need to focus on.
Absolutely. But that's why in our discussion and the preparation for that program I told you about, we talked about the long-term plan of that point, and that takes years. Now we just work on patching things, and we're not dealing with the main problem. We just stop putting band-aids over the problems. So this is like curative thing, but preventive takes years and decades actually. Actually, you might not see the result in your lifetime, and you have to be aware of that. You might not see the result of your lifetime. You might see the result when these children, 3 or 4 years old, they are in your shoes. Like means they are in their 30s and 40s. Me and you might be around, might not be around. So that's why you do that, because the mannerism is an infectious thing. Friends get from each other, and it goes through the community. It bleeds through the community, right? So whatever negative happens, it happens and exponentially increase. When positive things, same thing. And unfortunately, the positive is slower than the negative. Negative goes very fast, but positive, it's very slow. So it takes time. Many things now, you as women and me as an imam or as a male, this is the product of 100 years of, seeds that were planted in the minds of humans. What we do now is the result of this century. So if we start planting now, inshallah, hopefully we change that generation. That's how we should think about things. But we do both parallel, prevent and that. So story of Hajar alayhi salam and Ibrahim alayhi salam, Ismail alayhi salam is a story of submitting to the will of Allah, is a story of knowing who am I and who is the person who's telling me what to do. Okay? And that's how she became someone to be commemorated and followed. Okay? So all men, they follow that example. So every time you go between Safa and Marwa, all the men that they are the ones who do what the women did. But women, they don't do that. You don't have to, women don't run like this, but men do. Actually, women prevented from running between Safa and Marwa. You see the symbolism of that? But the men are the ones who do it. So me as a man, go between Safa and Marwa and come in the area where Hajar ran and I ran. So telling you the sacrifice of the woman for the man, right? She followed the man, Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, to raise a man, who was Ismail alayhi salam, and her being a woman showed us that sacrifice. And the reward that happened, from that comes the last prophet and guidance and mercy to mankind. You have to look at the big picture. Don't be stuck on the small, thing, for now. Look at the big picture. And always when you're raising a child, think about that child. I hope and I pray to Allah that He is the one who can change the world. Don't look small for the child. Even if he doesn't, that positive feeling itself gives the kids confidence. They have to hear it all the time, that they are more than they should think. If we do this collectively, for sure one of them will become the one who does the change. For sure, if we do this collectively as a community. Also, the author gives us another example. The story of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu walking through the Medina, and the mother telling the daughter to, add water to the milk and all of that. And then, the daughter said no. What was the result? It's not that Sayyidina Umar said, oh, that's a good girl, and commend her and all that. He said, no. That good girl needs to be a good mother. And for her to be a good mother, she has to get married. And that's an ideal wife. You see, the story goes beyond just a feel-good kind of story. You have to see this kind of looking further. Him as a Khalifa, he sees through it more than we just see through it. Oh, that's a great example. When we see a youth doing something good in the community, we just commend them, give them a medal and a certificate of appreciation. But we don't plan how this example should be modeled so it can be repeated. I want this to be repeated. I want next year to have 5 like this. And 10 years from now, have 50 like this. So it doesn't stop. I want it to be modeled. Go to school and find a teacher teaching Arabic or Islamic studies or Quran in one of the Islamic schools. And that teacher did a great job with the pre-K and the kindergarten kids. Guess what? The following year, the pre-K became in kindergarten, and the kindergarten became what? First grade. and the parents want the same teacher to keep teaching their kids. So you'll end up 5 years, you find that teachers teaching the same kids while they are in 4th and 5th grade. So what happens now? Think about it for a second. So what happens in the long run? So the benefit of the teacher now is limited. It's actually you are counterproductive. So that teacher now might have been successful with pre-K and kindergarten, and their performance will actually go less until they get to the 4th and 5th grade. Why? Because that teacher as a teacher now is first time to teach pre-K and kindergarten, and next year is the first time to teach 1st grade, and the next year is what? First time to teach 3rd grade. So they are actually changing their things and they're becoming more challenging. Maybe actually they will fail while they are in the 4th and 5th grade. So that's a first negative. Second negative, the kids also, they grow and they get bored with that teacher. Maybe they achieve, but they are not achieved fully. So the teacher is always challenged. Also, all the other kids, they don't have the same opportunity. So the following year, pre-K and kindergarten, they don't have the chance like the ones who were before them. So if you have 2 siblings, right? One of them will be educated by that good teacher better than the other, or maybe the other better than them. So you are actually imbalancing the community on the long run. You following my point? Instead, that teacher, if she is teaching pre-K and kindergarten for 5-6 years in a row, so all 1st graders, they have the base, and they go to the 1st grade strong. Even that new teacher is not performing well, they have a base, right, to build on. So all of them pronounce the alphabet correctly. So when they go 1st grade, everybody enter 1st grade pronouncing what? The alphabet correctly. But the other one, you have a generation. Over 5 years, they are the only one good. But you have 5 generations, they are not as good. You following? So now, instead, that teacher should have been modeled. Meaning that you see why that teacher is this. Her qualification is such and such. She have this creativity thing. She went through this, ijaza. She did this and that. So I make it a requirement in my school. Whoever comes, I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you have the same exact result, and then now you are actually going better. I'm just giving you from educational background, things to do. A mother does the same. So if you have a group, and you create a theme of the month. Theme of the month, how you deal with toddlers, how you deal with newborns, how you deal with teenagers. And each one can put the challenge, and the others can say, you know what, I read this, I did this, we try this, and you come up with, a support group kind of. So, yeah. So the story, Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab, he gathered his children, 3 children, Abdullah ibn Umar, Abdul Rahman, and Asim. And he told them, anybody wants to get married, because this girl needs to be married. And if I feel that I'll get married, I will marry her myself. Then Abdullah said, I have a wife. The other one said, I have a wife. Asim said, I don't have. He said, you will only marry her. And he married her. And then they have a daughter who became the mother of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz later. So the moral of the story is that you see a good example, you utilize it beyond that example. So when you're raising your child, you are raising a mother or a father 20 years from today. Look at them that way. Don't look at them little babies only. Look at them about the foundation that you put for a mother or a father in the future. Now, she regularly prays 5 times a day. So fear of Allah leads to praying 5 times a day because you want that relationship to be established. 5 daily prayers is like the river that's flowing in front of one's house. If they wash themselves in it 5 times a day, there would be no physical dirt or impurity. Same thing, salah will clean you from any spiritual dirt or impurity. She may attend the jama'ah. It is very important. Islam balanced that. So you have to see again the wisdom of Allah Azza wa Jal. Imagine if Allah Azza wa Jal make it obligatory for the women, if they can go to the masjid, they have to attend the 5 daily jama'ah, like he mentioned to the men. It's important. Would you be able to do it? It's very hard, right? Very hard. Very hard to do that. Sister is pregnant, the sister is like this, and the sister is having issues, and there's a home, or if she's a working mom and all of this, it becomes very hard. Allah Azza wa Jal created you, Allah give you, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, mentally, certain capacities, different from a man. It's not who's better and who's weaker, it's not like that. But Allah created you to fulfill a purpose. And Allah created a man to fulfill a purpose. Forget about husband and wife here. Forget about purpose. To fulfill that purpose, Allah Azza wa Jal give you certain limitations, and Allah give you certain responsibilities. So he said, prayer at home is better than praying in the masjid. Better. You know what means better? Like, Allah Azza wa Jal, Rasulullah told me, it is better for me to come to the masjid. It's 27 times better. You are allowed to come to the masjid too. But when you stay home, not only you gain 27 times more, no, you get better. Your prayer at home is better than your prayer at the masjid. You see the reasoning here, logic? Well, if you pray at the masjid, what do you get? 27 times more, because that's what I get, right? When you come to the masjid, it is 27 times more than a regular person praying at the masjid. Man and woman now equal here. But Rasulullah ﷺ said, if you pray at home, your salah is better. That means you actually, and he left it open. It means it's better. But nobody can prevent you coming to the masjid. As long as fitna is avoided, mingling between men and women, and all of these things are within, reason. So you're fine. But nobody can prevent you from coming to the masjid. Yet, praying at home is better than the masjid. You see the equation here? So it's up to you now. You want to come to the masjid? Alhamdulillah. You want to stay home? You get better. So who's the winner here? Actually, women. We don't have that option here. That I come to the masjid, and if I stay home, it's better for me. Imagine if the men have that. Masjid will be empty then. Don't you think? Masjid will be empty then. Because women, by nature, they are very social humans. They want to go out and they want to do that. But men, no. Men, they rationalize everything. I go here, it's better, this and that. Better stay home then. I just pray home. So you will find that is the case. But nobody can prevent, as I said, as long as the woman is abiding by the rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, and the woman can come to the masjid to learn and to teach. She can be teaching men and she can be teaching women. But not because a woman has to be there because she's a woman. That's a mistake. That's a mistake. Men giving lectures all the time, but where are the women's representation? This kind of approach is wrong. We're not saying that there should be no women presentation. That's wrong too. But if we can say there has to be a woman representation because we just need a woman to be there, that's wrong. No, if a woman is qualified, like a man is qualified or more, actually a woman will proceed. If I have in Quran teaching or hadith or the sunnah of Rasulullah ﷺ or fiqh or even in secular education, there is a woman who's better than a man to teach and empower the community, yeah, that's fine. She can teach men and women. No problem at all. As long as, again, the rules of the deen are not compromised. So there is no man-woman kind of issue here. I cannot shun away a woman just because she is a woman if she is the most qualified, right? I cannot say, no, you are a woman. And I take a man because he's a man even though he's less. At the same time, I cannot allow a woman just because she's a woman. Okay? And knowing she's less, and there is a man who knows better, and that's why. But this will lead us, you know what? We should have more women hafiz. We should have more women qualified. We should have more women like that. So we raise our daughters like this. All right? This will help us. But not just because women and men, because they are women and men only. No. Everything applies to women. the women come to the Jama'ah, even the Fajr Salah, at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the rule or the etiquette that the women come and enter the masjid for Jama'ah after the men start. Because there was no partition, women's section, men's section, there was nothing like that. Okay? So women would pray behind what? The men. Right behind the men. And once the lines are there, so the women entered the masjid and started the salah. And once the salam is there, the men were asked to stay until the women leave first. And they leave covered and all of that before the sunrise or before the light comes, so nobody identifies them. So that was the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was continued. Sayyidah Aisha later, she made the comment that if the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw what the women doing now, later, 20 years later, he would have prevented them from coming to the masjid. So the whole idea, she's making that comment, the whole idea is, as long as the same etiquettes are observed, like they were observed, the same rule continues. Once they are violated, then the rule will change. So don't claim the right without fulfilling the duties. Okay? So women know that why? There is no partition at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But they were observing hijab properly at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm not telling you wear burqa. I'm not saying that. I'm not telling you wear abaya, black abaya. I'm not saying that either. Okay? This Islamic dress is a relative thing. There are broader lines. Okay? And then the applications are an area of flexibility. We don't compromise and we don't go extreme in applying it. That's fine. But don't claim a right without fulfilling the duties, subhanallah. Like the man, he said, I am the man and I'm ordering you to stay behind the things. No, I don't stay behind the things just because you're a man. I am coming and I am observing my hijab properly. I'm not freely talking to the men and I'm not gossiping. I'm not doing anything. And I come sincerely with the intention. And I pray and I mind my own business and I'm coming to fulfill that. And then I'm not compromising my duties as a woman in the community. So you cannot tell me stay behind the partition because you are a man. At the same time, you cannot allow women to do all what they want with compromising all the rules of the deen. You see, it goes both ways. But we get stuck, as I said in the beginning, we get stuck with the idea of who are you, this and that, and then we keep that fight, and we end up like in a wrong place. Like I told you before, you go to a group Facebook page or something like that, the conversation starts of like, who knows what is the best creamer in the coffee to add to my coffee, and you end up, like few comments later about, talking about what is bid'ah and what that has to do with the creamer in the coffee, someone said, oh, no, this is bid'ah and this is sunnah and the women and the men. What brought us to here actually? Distraction, right? So it's like we have big issue toward each other. No tolerance, like not focused. Just stay with the creamer issue. Talk with the creamer issue. Once you find yourself going to the food, say, khalas, the conversation is finished here. Right? Let's open another conversation. But we keep going and you find somebody calling somebody kafir and fasiq and all that. You know what I'm talking about, right? We just started like some, and then at the end, who are you? You cannot talk to me like this. Oh, because I'm a woman. Oh, because you know this, and this is racist and this is misogynist. Yeah, we're talking about creamer, flavored creamer of the coffee, Please stick to the topic, and you get sick of this. And this is happening every single day. Every single day. Just go to this Facebook, somebody just saying something, and then you find people diverted to the whole idea and make a big thing, much ado about nothing. Anyways, so women, subhanallah, in our history, there were amazing examples going to the masajid. Once there is a fitna, then this partition happened and this women issue, men issue, and all of that. So, men will use that fitna excuse to prevent women, period, from going. So you find some groups saying, no women allowed to go to the masjid. Who gave you the authority to make that rule? And again, the others, so number one, there are groups, pious righteous groups, who are not doubting the religion. But one of their main highlights of their jama'ah or whatever is to prevent the woman from coming to the masjid. End of story. I don't want to name groups, yani. But there are groups like that. They're good people in themselves, brothers. But they say, our wives don't go to the masjid, period. There is fitna and all of that. It's better to close that door. Well, I agree and I disagree, because you are preventing them from as much good as the evil that you are preventing them from being exposed to. Actually, it is much, much more benefit you are shunning them from. So here there are lots of benefit, 70% benefit, 30% harm, and you are preventing them from that. So we have to evaluate this. While on the other side, you find many sisters and many so-called feminists or whatever said, women has to go to the masjid. You have to go to the masjid regardless what you do and what you are. And then we have a bigger problem as well. And then you find sisters intentionally, they come not dressed properly, and they come with an agenda, and they come with a very challenging, abrasive attitude, and they want to be in the musalla of the men just to make a statement. Okay? So now you are not sincere, for the sake of Allah. I'm sorry, but that's the case, right? So one is extremely preventing women from her right that the Prophet ﷺ gave, with the conditions that he gave. And the others is trying to create a bigger problem by making a statement, not coming for the sake of Allah. Both are hurting the community. So one will come to the masjid but will not learn anything because they're having an attitude, and one will not benefit because they are not coming to the masjid while they have the qualification and the right to come. You see, both are harming the community in the future. That's why I said we have to really learn how to come forward and say, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. We have to learn that. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. You have to come out from your comfort zone. Sorry, I'm wrong. I was preaching you wrong. Let's try to do this thing right. And we have to accept that from each other. The woman attends Jum'ah prayer and Eid prayer. Do the women have to pray Jum'ah? No. Actually, Jum'ah is not a fard on the women like it is on the men. So Jum'ah is fard on the male, free. We don't have slaves now. So male means not females. But do females pray Jum'ah? Yeah. You get the reward the same? Yes. Do you have to pray Zuhr because Jum'ah is not fard on you? No. Once you pray Jum'ah, khalas. Okay? Jum'ah is not replacing Zuhr, by the way. But I'm going to get to some technical fiqhi issues. Some people feel that Jum'ah replaces Dhuhr. No. Jum'ah and Dhuhr are two different things, right? That's why when you are traveling, if you don't pray Jum'ah, you pray Dhuhr, right? So you pray Dhuhr. But if you pray Jum'ah, you don't pray Dhuhr. But Dhuhr is a fard on you. So that's why the fard stays if you don't do the other alternative. So if you are not among the people of Jum'ah, Dhuhr is the same. Okay? So this one is not replacing. There are two different things. You do one of them, the other one is not done. But you don't do this one will stay. You get the idea here? So think about it. It's a technical issue. But Jum'ah do not replace the Zuhr. And the khutbah does not replace 2 rak'ah, like many people think. Does not replace 2 rak'ah. If you don't attend the khutbah at all, you still can pray the 2 rak'ah Jum'ah. And if you come while the imam is in the 2nd rak'ah, you still got you stand up and do the 2nd rak'ah. But if the imam made the ruku' and stood up from the 2nd rak'ah, you have to pray the rest, the Zuhr. So women come to the Jum'ah. And women are advised to attend Eid, whether she is young, or she reached puberty, or she's old, even in her period, she comes and watch the Eid Salah. This is the advice of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So what does that mean? Rasulullah is recognizing you as an important member of the community. You have to be there, participate. So who say that the woman is pushed to stay home, repressed, she is transgressed, she's oppressed, and all of these est kind of verbs are there? That's not right. Why the Prophet make a certain specific call to the women to come out? Because she's an important member of the community. He wants the mother, the daughter, the wife, the sister, everybody to come out and يشهدن الذكرى. You are a member of the community. You come out there. You come out there, and see. So you are invited to come out there, because normally people would think, oh, women should stay. No. The whole idea is not for you to be repressed or shunned away. The whole idea for you to be protected. So at the time you need to come out, you are invited to come out. At the time you need to stay home, you are told to stay home. But the purpose is not to hide you all the time. The women even used to go for jihad. Jihad with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the women were part and parcel of that. To do the job of taking care of the injured and the wounding and becoming the nurses and get the water and all of that. Aisha radiallahu anha, the wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, used to give the drink and the water to the soldiers who were wounded. So what is more than that now, yani? What's more than that? Actually, this does not happen now in our lifetime. How many women, civilian women, are allowed to go side by side with their military husbands in the battlefield? Tell me. Where is that army now? They stay home, right? And waiting for the news of their husband killed or wounded or something like that. They become bereaved and they, grieve and all of this. No, she was actually part of the battle. If she does not go there, the husband is ordered not to stay more than 4 months in the battlefield. They have to get a vacation to go back and, meet their wife's need. Where is that, oppressed wife now? Leaving the protection of their own country and their own land and their own beliefs just to go meet the emotional and physical and financial need of their wives. They cannot stay away more than 4 months. Where is that rule now? You understand, we look at it now and as a big deal to allow a soldier to come attend his son's graduation or something like that, and you find the YouTube and emotional and all this kind of thing. Actually, they're supposed to have these kind of breaks, because if they are not emotionally happy and satisfied, they will not perform well in the battle. That's why they get depression, that's why they get PTSD and all of these kind of things, right? So that's why Islam looks at that. So woman is really, really, really appreciated, and really, really the needs are met. I'm just going, like highlights, and I'm not going in depth, but you will be surprised. That's why I'm asking you to read in details the examples there. The woman prays nafil and sunnah. How many of you got this challenge or question from your own kids, whether they are twins or this? What is the importance of nafil and sunnah? Why I have to pray extra? All the time, right? Why I have to memorize Quran? Why I have to do all of this? Now, instead of focusing on the answer, ask yourself why that question was asked. The question was asked, why the question was asked, because the prayer is introduced as a duty. Now we are asking them to do extra. And they are not actually fulfilling the duty itself. Yani they are struggling with the duty itself. Have you prayed? Yeah, like that. But if the prayer is something that they love, then it's doing extra should be actually something that is meaningful. Like taking extra credit. Kids don't like it, but if they like math, they will enjoy doing an extra. If they like science, they will enjoy doing extra. If they like reading, they will enjoy doing extra. If they like sports, they will enjoy having a black belt in karate. They're not enjoying only being like registered in the karate class. What do they want? They want to get to the black belt, right? Why? Because now they connected. If they don't like the sport, they will not advance. Even if they advance, they don't have a connection. You agree with me? Right? So the kid maybe wants an art class, and you are putting them in the sports class. Maybe they want the drawing class. Maybe they want a social activity, but you're putting them in the basketball. Maybe you are putting them in an art or music or whatever. I'm not saying music halal or haram here, okay? But putting them in something while they are going toward like football and stuff like that. So they might achieve in this, but they don't want no extra. They are just doing it for you or because it is a credit or whatever it is. Okay? They have community service, but they want to look good in the resume. But if they enjoy doing that, they will perform well. So ask yourself why the kids are questioning the extra here. Because, the basic is introduced to them as a duty. Why should I do more while I'm actually dealing with this as a duty? I'm actually dealing with the 5 daily prayers. I'm struggling with it. And now you are telling me the extra. Quran for me is like my mom wants to be like my father or my grandfather or my uncle or this or that. But I don't like actually this. It's enough for me to read 5, 6 surahs. But if the Quran is the words of Allah, Quran is presented to me as something like much, much bigger. It makes me feel good. It will open other gates for me. Then, the more I know, the more I'm a better Muslim, then I'll do it. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said, teach your kids Salah when they are 7. And give them some kind of punishment if they are 10. Actually, 7 and 10, they are not yet ordered to do Salah. And Salah, if they die, they are not going to go to hellfire because of it, right? So Salah only becomes fard on you when you are at the age of puberty. So what's the point of that? So it becomes a habit. And it is something that they do nicely. They do smoothly. They do with love. Like they want to do it. So you introduce. That's why I always tell people, make your kids love Allah. Make your kids love Masjid. Make your kids love the book of Allah and the Salah and all that. Love. The concept of love. I love to do this as an activity. So they want more of it. Because they feel good about it. Generally, I'm speaking. So, doing the nafil and sunnah. That's why adults, easy to understand. If I ask you, do you want to know the fastest way and the most, or the dearest deed to Allah to get you closer to Him? Do you want to know that or not? Because you want to get closer to Allah. See the concept here? I cannot tell you what gets you closer to Allah unless you really want to get closer to Allah. So first, I ask you, do you want to get closer to Allah? I'm asking you, do you want to get closer to Allah? Why? Because you love to do that, correct? All right. What if I give you a deed? Many deeds can get you closer to Allah, but what if I give you a shortcut? Like the deed that gets you closer to Allah the fastest and the closest. Do you want to know that?
Yeah.
Doing your fard. Doing your fard. So every time you stand for Fajr, Zuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, every time you fast Ramadan, every time you do the Hajj if you are able, every time you give Zakah, every time you do that, you are actually getting closer to Allah. Are you happy now? So every time you do the fard, you are getting closer to Allah, because Rasul ﷺ said, Allah Azza wa Jalla says in Hadith al-Qudsi, ما تقرب إلي عبدي بشيء أحب إلي مما افترضته عليه. Nothing gets my servant closer to me more than what I made fard on him or her. Alright, now you are closer to Allah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Do you want Allah to love you? Yes or no?
Yes.
Do you want a deed that if you do, for sure Allah loves you? Doing nafl and sunnah. وما زال عبدي يتقرب إلي بالنوافل حتى أحبه. So I love. So there are two acts. Now you know the importance of nafl and sunnah. So there is a reason. But first, you have to care about Allah loves me or not. So if the kids care about that concept, now when you tell them, by the way, this is a nafl, it translates in their head what? This will cause Allah to love me more. Okay? So they actually will be looking what is the nafl and sunnah. So they will not ask you, why should I do extra? Why actually you do extra in anything? Why do extra? I take you and I get you some ice cream. And you say, can I have more? Why? Because I love it. It's so delicious. And if it is not delicious and you don't love it, you will not ask for more? No. So you ask for more because you love it. Yes. So now you know why asking for more. So if the kids tell you why I have to do extra, you ask yourself why they should do extra. If they don't love it, if they don't get it. You can reason whatever you like. It will not make any sense unless they actually love to do extra. So actually, instead of suffering that, the kids, you have to initiate in the kids the love of Allah Azza wa Jal. Very important. Yeah, طبعا. Yeah. يعني Changing the concept. And also you don't deal with Allah as a business transaction. Yeah, Shaykh, I am doing all things the right way, but I'm not getting any dunya, I'm not getting any privileges. While my brother or sister or neighbor or such and such person disobeying Allah left and right, and they are getting everything. So what is now the premise? Why that question was asked? Because it is basically a business transaction for that person. Okay, so God is like the other side of the business deal, which is true. Fine, Allah Azza wa Jal talks to us business all the time in the Quran. Fine, but not like that. Oh God, I did my part of the deal, where is yours? So I pray to you and all of that. Now I'm expecting you to give me like all these kind of good things. Why are you not giving to me? And this guy is not praying, not doing anything, and they are giving him everything. So the standard here, فأما الإنسان إذا ما ابتلاه ربه فأكرمه ونعمه فيقول ربي كرما وأما إذا ابتلاه فقدر عليه رزقه فيقول ربي كلا. That's not true. That's not the standard. When Allah Azza wa Jal give you all the things materially, means He loves you, and He takes away things from you materially, that means He hates you. So you get that standard, you know that actually that might be an expression of love to deal tough with you. You know, teach your child sometimes not to have access to everything that they want, you know, so when they are in a survival situation, they are not dependent on that. They will appreciate what you did. But if you give them access to everything, they might be happy now. But what if they grow up and they don't have that person? You are not there to give them whatever they want. What are they going to do? Right? So now if I give my children everything, now I'm not around, or I retired, or I died, and they grow up and the supplier is not there. They have to find a job, they have to, instead of living in a big house, they have to live in a one-bedroom apartment or a roommate or whatever. How are they going to do that? They'll steal, they'll have depression, they will commit suicide. What are they going to do? So sometimes being prevented from what you want, it's a good thing. And having access to everything is a bad thing. And vice versa. Sometimes this is a good thing to have access to everything. إن من عبادي من إذا أغنيته فسد حاله. في حديث قدسي كده يعني. ومن عبادي من أفقرته فسد حاله. يعني some of my servants, if I make rich, they will be corrupted, while others, they will be corrupted if I make them poor. So the standard is, as long as Allah is pleased with me and I'm doing the things right, alhamdulillah, whether Allah give me the dunya or not. You see the standard now? So I'm not going to deal with Allah as I did my part of the bargain, why you did not do yours. No, I did my part of the deal, and I trust, Ya Allah, that whatever you do with me is your way of showing me what is better for me. As long as, Ya Allah, you are not angry with me, please, Ya Allah, save me from debt, save me from poverty, save me from sickness, right? But you are willing to accept any of the above, poverty, sickness, illness. If it happens, I'll deal with patience. If I am wealthy and all that, I will deal with thankfulness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, the ideal Muslimah perform prayers properly. Oh my God, and now I'm going to have that for the brothers, we are said, you know, make your line straight, heel to heel, shoulder to shoulder, make sure no gaps, and all of this. Same rules apply to sisters. You know, if you come to the masjid, the sisters' lines don't have exception. You know, sisters give me feedback in the sisters section. You find 3 sisters beside each other, and the 3 sisters on the other side, 3 sisters there. Sisters don't know how to put chairs. If I ask you a question now, if there are sisters who are going to sit on the chair, the front legs or the back legs should be on the line? Huh? You see? This is one thing, you know, you should ask. Even if you don't know, you should ask about that. But if it is no concern, everyone comes, oh, I'm in the masjid, وخلاص, that's it. طب make the line. يعني إن تسوية الصف من تمام الصلاة. يعني if the line is not straight, your salah reward is doubtable, you know. Yeah, you did your salah, alhamdulillah, الإجزاء خلاص يعني. The fard is done. But is it acceptable or not? That's now a debatable issue because you are not standing properly. So the sisters have to stand, align their feet together. I'm not saying stick the feet like many people take it, extremely. Align the feet together, right? So there is the ankles, they are parallel to each other. The knees, they are parallel to each other from the side. The shoulders, they are parallel to each other from the side. And that's how heels will be beside each other, because someone's feet is longer, someone's feet is shorter, right? So the heels on the same line, you'll find the ankles are lining, the knees are lining, the shoulders are lining. You understand me? And don't make a gap like you are away from that. Even if your feet are not touching, it is fine. But at least parallel. And then, when you start the line, you will end it the same way. Because you are conscious of going back and forth and all of that. You put a chair, the back legs of the chair has to be aligned as your feet. Even though you are standing in front of the chair. You are standing in front of the chair, hence standing in front of the line. But your chair, the back legs of the two back legs of any chair acts like your own legs. Am I clear? Right. Another etiquette, another condition. You use the chair for what you cannot perform. You don't start and end on the chair, period, because you are not able to stand. And if a person is able to stand but not able to do sujood, they are able to stand and do ruku', but they are not able to do sujood. So they have to stand and do ruku' without the chair, but they sit while they're doing sujood. You are with me? Otherwise the prayer is void. Yeah. If someone, their problem is only sitting. Some people, they can perform everything except what? Sitting. Sitting between the two sajda or sitting the tashahud. Or they can sit between the two sajda temporarily, right? Or, leaning forward or something. You find people like that. But they cannot sit for a longer time leaning back. So that is the only part you should do in the chair. You stand, you do ruku', you stand again, you do sajda. But if you cannot sit between the two sajda, you sit on the chair. Then you go to sajda again. And then you sit in the chair. If you can do between the two sajda sitting, you cannot do it in the chair. Otherwise your prayer will be void. All of these are education parts. Yeah, and this only comes with the question. Please don't blame the imams and the imam did not teach us. And why you did not ask the imam? Why you didn't do? If you assume that everything has to go to the imam assume that's the basics you should know. Okay, so it goes both ways. And we had fiqh as-salah here at this masjid. We had fiqh as-salah. And only few brothers and sisters were attending. And then you get the community said, you did not teach us. You did not do that. Well, you should also search and find what is there. So you do the prayer properly. It is very, very important. And please, sisters, please, be our ambassadors. I know, behind the partition, you are not seeing, you feel isolated. I understand that. But two wrongs don't make one right. Two wrongs don't make one right. Maybe it is wrong to shun you behind the partition while you are, mashallah, observing and all of that. But talking while the imam is teaching and you're in another world, it's not right. Many sisters complain from that, They don't hear anything. And then the sister said, well, we did not hear what you said. Because you were talking, man. We were talking. You were talking. Sometimes you can hear you while I'm talking, right? How are we going to do that? It takes two to communicate. Also, the ideal Muslimah pays zakah on her wealth. Like the man. If you have inheritance, it's all yours. If you have business and the money comes from it, it's all yours. You pay zakah. And sometimes the husband is faqir and the wife is, faqir means needy, and the wife is rich. She's not obligated to spend on him except out of love, and that. And he is not supposed to obligate her or deprive her from her rights or deal with her with aggression or resentment or anger because she is not giving him the money. You see, it goes both ways. To the point that if the husband is zakah qualified, wife can pay zakah to her husband. But the husband cannot pay zakah to his wife. My wife is my responsibility. She does not have money. And I have money, I'm going to give zakah. I don't come and say, honey, zakah is $500 for me this year, so here is the zakah. No. You give zakah to someone needy, maybe your brother or your nephew or somebody, or someone stranger, but your wife, you have to spend her on her. This is your duty. You don't have to spend her extravagantly, you have to meet the minimum. But it cannot be from zakah. Now, reverse the situation. The husband is working hard and all of that, but he's only meeting the minimum, and sometimes, he's going to be in debt or something to support his wife and children. Well, wife got some inheritance money or strike a business deal, and she got like few $1,000s. Now she's going to give zakah. Husband can tell her, I am qualified for zakah, please give me zakah money. And that zakah he's going to use and spend on her later. So she's in a win-win situation. So who says now that the men and the women are not equal? Actually, the woman is better than the man in that. Do you agree with me or not? Yes. And there is a hadith actually for that. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, great Sahabi of Rasulullah, one of the most knowledgeable people in the Quran and all that. He said, I memorized 70 surahs from the mouth of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam directly. And there is no ayah in the Quran except I know when it was revealed, why it was revealed, how it was revealed, and everything. That Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, who was allowed to enter the house of the Prophet without permission. And everybody come and say, Assalamu alaikum wa Rasulullah, may I enter? Abdullah ibn Mas'ud just take the curtain and enters. Alright? That man, his wife Zainab, the wife of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, she was rich. She gained some money. Then, zakah is due, so she's telling her husband, zakah is due, and find someone to take the zakah. He said, I am qualified for zakah, give it to me. He told his wife, zakah, I am qualified for zakah, and I am poor as you know, give me zakah. I said, no, you are my husband, I cannot give you zakah. I said, no, you give me the zakah. She said, okay, I will not give you the zakah until I ask the Prophet first. She goes to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, she asked for permission, and he was told, Zainab wants to talk to you. He said, Ayu Zayanibi here. Which Zainab? Zainab my wife, Zainab my daughter, or Zainab who? Right? They said Zainab, the wife of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. He said, okay, let her enter. She entered, asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, yes, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud is telling you the right thing. Give him the zakah. Give your husband the zakah. You see that now? Where is that equality now? The wife is actually better. You take the money, but you don't have to give. Now women don't complain from that. But whenever we say, obey your husband, said, why he doesn't obey me? You see, it's always we are like that. You are given a privilege, it's a package. The deen have easy aspects and have hard aspects. Don't pick the easy and reject the hard. It's a package. It's a package. You go to school, there are courses you don't like, but you have to study. There is a course is easy. Not everything has to be easy, not everything has to be hard. So you have to accept the package. Accept the package. Subhanallah. Yeah. Also, she fasts during the day and prays night in Ramadan. Salatul Qiyam and all of that. She does exactly like the man. She observes nafl fasting. We said she prays 5 times. She prays properly. She prays nafl, right? Because nafl makes Allah love you. Same thing, loves you. Same thing goes for Ramadan and fasting. Fast Monday and Thursday. And nafl has to be with the permission of the husband. Not from an authority perspective. Again, please, don't understand this from authority perspective. That's why I have to ask permission from my husband, because you don't want to compromise the duties, right? You don't want your husband to be looking for somewhere else, where he needs his wife. Maybe the husband needs his, physical, sexual needs or whatever while she's fasting, so he wants his wife, and taking care of the children or the chores at the house, or she's a working mom, she's something like that. It becomes very hard to fast. Then you should ask your husband so he can help you. He can help you and knows what to expect. So he at least knows. Otherwise, sometimes it will be used, oh, I'm fasting today, because she doesn't want certain things. So she will use fasting as an excuse. And we don't want that. Yeah. She goes to Hajj to sacred the house of Allah Azza wa Jal. Same order like the man. If the wife has money, Hajj becomes obligation on her, and the husband should not prevent her from going. Actually, the ulama differed that she can go without the permission. Even if the husband denies, she still goes to Hajj. If she can afford it, it becomes a must on her. She goes to Umrah, for Umrah. Again, like the Nafil. So Nafil in prayer, Fard and Nafil in prayer, Fard and Nafil in fasting, Fard and Nafil zakat and sadaqah, Fard and Nafil in Hajj and Umrah. Same rule applies to the women. From Umrah to Umrah, there is erasing for the sins and all that. She does not sit alone with a stranger man. Some women, they are, mashallah, free-spirited, alhamdulillah. They're outgoing, it's okay. But be careful. Again, it's not about you personally. The rule is applying on the society as a whole and the big picture. Something might happen 10 years from the time you initiate contact. So that's why you are prevented from the beginning. A woman feel comfortable around a man, or the man feel comfortable around the woman. They are not mahram for each other. It will lead to something bad. Even someone can look at you and do it in a bad way. So even if you don't end up doing something wrong, your children will look at you and imitate. They might not be as careful as you are. So don't think only it's about you. Oh, you don't trust me. Oh, I am like that. Don't use culture and don't use this. This is a rule for Allah. Rasul ﷺ said a man and a woman, strangers sitting with each other alone, shaitan is the third. Shaitan is the third means shaitan is the third. It does not matter how pious you are. Even if you're going to teach her Quran or she's going to teach you Quran, shaitan is your third. Period. So trust Allah Azza wa Jalla and don't challenge the rule and say, I can do better. Allah created you and He said you cannot. So you cannot. Something bad is going to come out of it. So be careful, sisters, okay? Be very, very, very careful. She wears correct hijab. And hijab, as I said, borderline. It's not tight, so it describes your body features. It is not transparent. It does not show your skin. And it is long, it's not short. And it covers the parts that you are ordered to cover until all your body from head to toe except your face and hands according to majority. And the face and hands become also fard according to minority of scholars. It's not the issue of debate today, but at least you wear that. So nobody can say the Pakistani dress or the Arab dress, the abaya or the hijab the way it is, or it has to be khimar with the modern definition of khimar. It has to be the Malaysian dress. No, all of these are actually manifestations of the Islamic dress code if they are done properly. All right? So whether it is the dress Pakistani sharwal kameez or the Malaysian baju Quran or whatever they call it, or the abaya, or all of these things, that's fine. As long as you are observing the main broader lines of hijab, you are okay. Don't listen to all those who give you a certain model as the model. And a woman wearing black all around, covering her face and all that, she's better and more pious than anybody else. Who said that? Who gave you that standard? Who gave you that standard? I don't want to use bad things, but there are women under the niqab, they are actually worse than the women. I'm not saying that this always like the case. Please don't misquote me. But I'm trying to say good and bad in either side of the spectrum. It does not justify that you get out of your hijab because many women without hijab, they are good. And it does not justify, getting rid of the niqab because many women in the niqab, they are bad. This is unfair to either side. Are we clear on that one? So this is not the standard, how much hijab you have or how less hijab you have. Piety and righteousness is between you and Allah. But hijab to be observed is a fard of Allah. So don't please mix those two. There are many women without hijab and they are better than the woman with niqab. So what? So what? And also there is a woman with niqab better than the woman without hijab. So what actually did you do now? Are you telling me that every single woman with niqab is less than every single woman without the niqab? Are you telling me that? That's not right. In both sides there are here and there. So that's not the issue now. Piety and righteousness is between you and Allah. It does not have to do with what dress you have. Fine, even though I can contest that as well. Because piety and righteousness has to reflect on what you have. So actually what you do is a reflection of how much you fear Allah Azza wa Jal. We can contest that, but let's assume that this is one thing and that's another thing. So don't play that game. All right. She avoids mixing freely with men. We talked about sitting alone with a man. Now, you're not alone with the man, but in public activities and all of that, you find women, they are, aggressive about it. I was giving a khutbah in a big masjid in Houston here, I don't want to mention names, last Friday. And after the khutbah, I'm standing with one of the administration of the masjid in the men's side. And here comes a woman from the women's section coming out from the women's door, entering the men's, while all the men are there. You know after salah how the foyer of the masjid is full of people. And she goes through 5-6 men, and she comes while I'm talking to the administrator. Wallah, I swear to God, I thought that she's gonna come hug one of us. She was coming so aggressive and so fast that she was staying like less than 1 foot from the man, talking to him. Her nose was closer to his nose. Breathing can be. I stepped behind, and he stepped behind, and she stepped forward again, talking to him about something. This is not right, sister. That's not right. It's not right from a man to do. It's not right from a sister to do. It's not right like if a sheikh sitting like I'm sitting now, and then one comes ask a question, and she comes like very close to him, right? Very close to him, talking to him, putting her head down while he's showing her something in the book, and that close. No. That's not right. It's not right. This is not like being modern or anything like that. That's not right. Shaitan runs in our blood, subhanallah. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was standing with his own wife. And 2 Sahaba looked and they run fast, not to want to be embarrassed. Or Rasulullah said, yeah, this is my wife, Safiya, she's covered and everything. He doesn't want them to even entertain the thought of that. And we are just engaging in things, being comfortable and all that, and we are like large or liberal, whatever. No, we are not. This is a female and I am a male, and there has to be a distance, period. Don't, please. I beg you, by Allah's name, don't use this as an excuse. This is culture, this is nothing, this backwardness. No. Male and female created by Allah, Adam and Hawa is the same like the last 2 couples on earth before the day of judgment. Male and female, that's it. Please don't make yourself the rule. Even if I agree with you 100%, nothing wrong will happen, but you are setting an example for others who can be wrong. You are safe, 20 people will be not safe. Our deen is the deen of role modeling. So don't mix freely with men. Don't make a point. You go to a wedding and all women are angry because they cannot sit with their husband on the same table. I want to sit with my husband in the same table. Mashi, it's okay. You sit with your husband in the same table. But beside you, there is a couple and the man is not as religious as your husband. And he's looking at you. And eye contact to you. What are you going to do now? How your husband is going to feel now? By looking on his right and looking at his fist, and his left, and you are, mashallah, dressed properly, dressed nicely, and those 2 men are looking at you, and your husband is dealing with this. Or vice versa. There is another woman who is more attractive than you, mashallah, and she is eyeing your husband. How are you going to, oh, it's fine, No, it's not fine. It's not fine. I'm sorry I'm blunt in these things, because sometimes people make it a point, mixing between men and women and partition, this is backward, all of that. And some women make it a point. You go to a masjid one time, and the sister asks another sister, where is the women's section? Oh, we don't have women's section over here. Women and men. There was no partition at the time of the Prophet. And she makes a big deal. And then the sister looks at her and said, and why you are not wearing hijab, sister? You see? That sister is wearing jeans and a blouse and her hair is down. And she's preaching the sister who is with hijab, why should we have a partition? At the time of the Prophet there was no partition. She told her, at the time of the Prophet there was hijab also. Come on now. What are we doing here? She does not shake hands with a non-mahram man. Woman, she does not extend her hand to a non-mahram and do that. And men also don't do the same. She does not travel except to the mahram. And I'm talking about things in general, right? طبعا traveling in a safe company for Hajj and for Umrah and all of that. But if a mahram is available, women should not avoid. And that's the outcome. She accepts the will and the decree of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah's will and the decree. What happens to you cannot avoid. What avoided cannot happen. You, your children, your spouse, everybody. This is from Allah Azza wa Jal. She turns to Allah in repentance. We are all human beings. Repent to Allah after every salah. When you do something consciously wrong, repent to Allah Azza wa Jalla and fix it. She feels a sense of responsibility for the members of her family. Again, don't think you are only a consumer. You're only looking at your husband fulfilling your needs, emotionally and psychological and everything. You're a demanding person. You're a person who complains all the time. Sometimes I see this complaint comes, and I'm sorry to say that. It goes both ways. Sometimes the man try to avoid giving his sister's right, using his authority by being aggressive and abrasive, making her in the defense all the time. You see my point here? It's a psychological game. Should do this, why you didn't do this, and she's busy about defending herself, so she does not ask for her rights. And sometimes the women do the same. Always complain, oh, you are not doing this, oh, you are leaving me alone, or like this and like that, and because she's not fulfilling her duties either. And this is her interpretation of, that's how I keep my husband in a leash. That's why I keep him distracted all the time, trying all the time. But after a while, both will resent, and both will look for other options. So be careful. Don't abuse it. For husband and wife, for father and daughter, for mother and son. Be extra careful. Don't abuse. Mental abuse, emotional abuse. Women complain from that abuse, but they end up doing it as well. This manipulation game, asking. I need. You are not doing. The man later on, he said, so what is the point of this? This woman complains all the time. Let me find someone else who satisfies my need, right? I just need someone for that purpose. And then you can complain whatever you want. That's not right. Please. And don't be submissive all the time also doing no, it goes both ways. So please be careful, sisters, right? Complaining too much and being always complaining, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. Yeah. She feels a sense of responsibility. We said that. Her main concern is to please Allah Azza wa Jal. You are doing all of this to please Rabbul Alameen subhanahu wa ta'ala. She understands the true meaning of being a servant of Allah. She works to support the religion of Allah. Giving the da'wah, but you have to have the qualification. Only give according to what you know. And saying, I don't know, is half of knowledge. I don't know, أعلم, لا أعلم, لا أدري, نصف العلم. Why? Because when you say, I don't know, you're going to go and look for the question. Now you know it. Somebody asks you, what is the rule of that share in the salah? Right? You say, I don't know. Or, I'm not sure, let me go check. You go check, now you know it. Now you go tell the person. Now you are one piece of knowledge closer. And one less part ignorant. So you say, I don't know. But if you give fatwa, you think it is right. Okay? Especially when no feedback comes. And you give fatwa with ignorance. That's not good. But you have to be qualified to give da'wah. Like some people, they start counseling others and it becomes counterproductive. Even though sometimes your advice works, but temporarily. Maybe 2 years later on you find divorce and you caused it. So be careful. Don't give counseling advice. Don't offer help to people without being qualified and knowing the things. Don't give religious advice to people. Don't give fatwas. Don't give da'was without being qualified. And give according to your qualification. I'm not saying you have to be a shaykh, hence you don't give da'wah until you become knowledgeable. No, give da'wah according to your. If your da'wah is only to give a book, if questions come, said, give me the question, I'll ask a knowledgeable person, I'll come back. After a while, you have the answer for all the questions, so next year or two, when you give the book, you can answer those questions. But don't volunteer to answer them without knowing. Make sense? We're almost done. I know it's long today, but that chapter is very important because it's the first chapter. Yeah. And I want you to read that portion again in detail. Helping the religion. So don't be counterproductive. Helping the religion while you are harming the religion while you think you are helping it. It's very important. She is distinguished by her Islamic character and true religion. It's not distinguished by how much you talk, how much I'm up, how much I'm on the microphone, how much everybody like that. No. Actually, this can cause people to avoid you even more. Islamic character has to be there according to the book of Allah and the Sunnah. Her loyalty is to Allah alone. The big loyalty is to Allah alone. Sometimes you said you have to be loyal to your husband, you have to be loyal to your wife. Yeah, that's great. But loyalty is to Allah alone. This will fall in place easily. Because you'll be the ideal husband, the ideal Muslimah, the ideal wife, the ideal mother, the ideal daughter, the ideal everything. Then it will fall in place. Because you want to please Allah, you're loyal to Allah, Allah will show you how to be good in your situation. Okay? So loyalty, look for it first. Sometimes, oh, you don't love me anymore. Well, even if that love is not there, that person loves Allah and fear Allah or not? Yes. So work on that, you fear Allah only, and pray to Him that He puts your love in his heart or her heart. It might come. As long as there is no transgression, right? But sometimes we say love, and maybe someone loves you so much, but he is not practicing religion. Which one would you like to have as a partner? Yeah. Someone who loves you and they talk to you the way, tell you what you want to hear, but their relationship with Allah is no good. Or someone, his relationship with Allah is good, but they are not romantic, or they are not good, but they are fulfilling their right. I know it's a hard choice, right? But which one would you like to spend your life with? Someone who is fair and good and all of that, and respect you and all of this, even though they are not romantically or expressive or just in love like the movies kind of thing. But maybe they will have that love one day, maybe not. And nobody forces you in that marriage, by the way. You might find someone who has both, but you might not find. But if you have the choice, which one you will choose? You have to answer that question to yourself. And that will help you. Because don't live a miserable life because that ingredient is missing. Your miserable life is when your husband is not praying, or your wife is not praying, not reading Quran, not fearing Allah Azza wa Jal, but they are, mashallah, loving you, bringing you flowers, taking you to food and everything, but they are zero with Allah Azza wa Jal. So what is the point here? What are you achieving? What are you achieving? Which one you'll choose? I know it's a hard choice, so think about it. She enjoins what is good and forbids what is evil, of course. She reads the Quran often. You're reading the Quran, and this is the last point here. You're reading the Quran, the guidance of Allah will always be with you. So please, sisters, try to make a portion of Quran as your word every day. Word means a habit, routine. 1 page, half page, but focus on it. And when you have your period or something, listen on the iPhone or read on the iPhone. It's not considered the Quran, yani mushaf. Yeah. So try to have that as a habit. It will be hard in the beginning, but once you kind of get into the habit, inshallah, it will be part of your life. And you'll see the guidance of Allah. Meantime, try to focus on your tajweed. If you don't know how to read Arabic, try to learn Arabic. Give yourself a goal. The outcome of today's lecture is your relationship with Allah is the source of any other relationship. Your loyalty to Allah is the source of any loyalty. Your love to Allah is the source and the base for any love. So if any of the second does not happen, at least you have the first. You are loyal to Allah Azza wa Jal. Even if everybody else is not loyal to you, don't lose that. You love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? If you don't find anybody worthy of your love, or anybody loves you, at least you love Allah, Allah loves you. You're doing the sunnah, you're doing the nafl, you're doing the Quran, you're doing all of that. So this is the highlight of today's chapter. I advise you, inshallah, to continue reading in that book. And inshallah, now we open it for your comments and question and answer for the next 10-15 minutes, inshallah. Sallallahu wa sallim wa barak ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam ajma'een. So anybody, inshallah, have any question? If you have in the page, if you have a Facebook page open, if anybody asks a question on the book, please, on the Facebook, please let me know. Because I'm not able to see it, see the comments here live. Not able to see comments live. Go ahead. Yes.
You said about the wife can give zakah to the husband.
Yes.
And in which valid point can she give, like during when he's jobless, or?
Yes, if he's deserving of the zakah. If the shurut or the conditions of zakah available. Like if he does not have money, he is in debt, his income is not enough to meet the basic needs of the family, then yes. But if he is rich, then why she gives him zakah? If he is qualified, yeah.
And let's say that's the same position, and second, if the woman is not working, but yes, she has like jewelry, or she still has to give zakah.
Yes, طبعا. If any, wealth that you give zakah for does not have to do with how you earned it or what you do. You have it. That's the whole idea. Somebody give you a gift, some jewelry was $10,000. 1 year later, you still have him. You have to give zakah on them. You don't say, I'm not working. What do you have now? This item that you have. Is it the zakah minimum or not? Did you have 1 year maintained the minimum or not? Now 1 year later, you maintain that minimum and you have the minimum zakatable money. You have to give zakah. Yes. If he wants to, can the husband give zakah on behalf of his wife? If he wants to, like, you give the zakah, and I said, you know what, how much zakah you owe, right? Oh, I owe $100, $200. I'll pay them for you, and he pays them. So alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Huh? He does not have to. Same thing. It's hers. She has to be giving. I'll tell you something, Sister Iman. I'll tell you something that will help you understand. Because always we think about, well, I have gold, and if I give zakah every year, there are two problems. One, eventually I will lose it, right? Because it keeps decreasing. Two, what if I don't have cash? I have to sell, right? Actually, that's the whole point. Islam is not with the idea of you keeping gold and silver maknuz, yani. Islam was the idea of a very liquid economy, that you live in a higher standard, but all the money is working in the society. So having money, the zakah will eat it. Actually, there is a hadith like that. Whoever makes kanz of dhahab and fidda, the zakah will eat it eventually. So you keep money in the bank, you're going to pay zakah every year. If the money increases, the zakah also will increase. So actually it's taking from that money. Now Islam wants you to take that money and invest it. When you invest it, there is profit coming, and you go back to the creating jobs, people receive less zakah, more people pay zakah, economy boosts, and all of that. That's why in any country, if there is no interest in loaning and everything, the economy will boost. In Clinton times, when they reduced the interest rate from the Federal Reserve, the whole economy boosted up and there was no debt. But the people who are interested from that, they will just want the interest, because the bank has to be there. The bank, you put money and they give you like 2%, and they loan the money and they charge 12%, and they take what is in the middle, right? But if this is not there, so all the money will be building things and opening factories, people will doing more, and then everybody have their own power. It's a big deal, yani. But the whole idea of Islam is that more money in the market, so less people receive zakah, more people pay zakah. So we start doing things that bring the community up. Now the whole issue is not like that. So you get the idea? So you're having the gold and silver, yeah, that's the whole idea of the problem. You have to sell some to pay the zakah. So that's actually, you're not going to buy more gold because you're going to pay more zakah. Yeah, so. Yes, ma'am. Yes, shaking the hand, yeah.
Yeah, I usually don't do it, but I went to my children's doctor.
Yeah.
The other day,
Yeah.
and it felt kind of weird because I was meeting for the first time and it was raising up.
Right.
And I was like, I'm sorry. And since that day, when I go there, you can tell it hits me.
Oh, that's a very good point. So sister is saying, like, she was at the doctor's office, and mahram, of course, the doctor, and he extended his hand, and you did not do it, so the person have a bad impression. See, now you are caught in the necessity issue here, which the fatwa, I would say, it does not make something haram halal, right? Yani, like, if you had to shake the hand of a non-mahram man as a woman, it does not make it, the rule does not change from something should not be happen, that is okay to happen. You have to understand that first. So even doing it, or telling you to do it under certain circumstances, it does not make you comfortable, and it does not absolve you from the responsibility. So you actually committed like something wrong, under pressure, you seek forgiveness of Allah. You get the idea here, right? So now with that understanding, that necessity does not change the rule, but it gives you the permission to do something wrong for certain benefit. All right? So it's wrong, stayed wrong. Lying is lying. You're allowed to lie in certain situation, but this is a lie. It does not change to become a good thing, yeah, right? So shaking the hand is not supposed to happen. If you end up shaking the hand, you just did something which is not supposed to happen, but you did it for a bigger benefit or to avoid a bigger problem. You get my idea? So still do it if you feel that it's going to cause a bigger problem or a bigger mushkil or a bad impression or a negative perception about the Muslim. You do it, you seek forgiveness of Allah, and you do an effort to explain. So sometimes if a woman extend her hand, I would shake the hand. I said, by the way, we as Muslims, we are not supposed to shake the hand voluntarily like this with the other gender. I hope you understand that if I don't shake hand with you next time. Khalas, alhamdulillah, you know, and with the smile and everything, she understands. So next time, if she sees any other Muslim, will understand that Muslim might shake, might not shake, but I understand. So try to educate in a nice manner. But if you had to do and there is no way around it, do it ta'athuman yani. This is not something I'm comfortable with, and I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to forgive me, but I did it for a bigger benefit. What would be the... Now I don't speak French, so I don't know what is the title. What to look?
No, because is it the same name in English and just...
Yeah, translate. What would be the translation? Muslim ideal? Ideal Muslim? Yeah, because there is ideal Muslim man and woman. There's two books. In French, there is no one for female. Yeah, Muslimah is translated to English as Muslimah also, because no female and male, yes. So try to... Yes. Yeah, maybe the same. But try to... I'll try for you, inshallah. I'll look for you, inshallah. Any other questions? Or comment, you know. And, we have about 10 minutes for Salat al-Dhuhr, inshallah. All right? Can you see, inshallah, if anybody asks a question on the Facebook page? Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was asking, how do I know how much to pay on my jewelry? How do I know?
Same thing, if your jewelry get to the nisab. Nisab is 85 grams of gold. Equal to 85 grams of gold, or I think 868 grams of silver. Taban silver, you're going to pay zakah on a lesser amount, but gold you'll pay zakah on more. So let's say 85 grams of gold, see how much they are worth, and either you have 85 grams of gold or more, or the jewelry that you have is worth equal to 85 grams of gold. And then you pay 2.5%. You add them to the total of other zakatable money, and you pay 2.5%, inshallah. So we stop here, inshallah, today. Jazakumullah khairan. Please prepare chapter 2. Inshallah, Rabbil Alameen, for next week. And try to, as I said, read this chapter of today again. Chapter next time will be the ideal Muslim woman and her own self. It's a very important chapter, how to carry yourself, what you need to do physically, emotionally, psychologically, mentally, financially. So please read it carefully, and we'll come and discuss it next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.